Hi there. So today we are going to do just a little bit of breath work. So something nice and simple that you can do anywhere at any time. And this will just help to calm your nervous system, just bring in some deeper breaths, and also help to really expand the rib cage and improve the function of the diaphragm. So find a nice comfortable seat. So at the moment I'm just sitting on a little meditation cushion. You can also grab a block. You can also sit in a chair, so feel free to sit in a chair, but if you are sitting on a chair, just make sure it's a little bit more of a firm chair so you can sit upright, so you don't want to be slouching back on your couch or anything. And then just let the hands rest on the knees or the thighs or arms down by your side. Try to think about the sit bones being quite grounded, the crown of the head lifting towards the sky, the shoulders relaxed. And before we start the breath, we're just going to do a couple of little stretches. So first of all, we'll do some neck circles. Just drop your chin in towards your chest and then just take some nice little semicircles, just bringing the head side to side, just seeing how that feels. And if it feels okay, start to bring the head around in full circles. A couple of times in one direction and a couple of times in the opposite direction. Bring your head back through center. Just drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Option to bring that left hand up overhead and just lightly rest the hand on the side of the head. Don't pull the head to the shoulder, just enough just to help stretch out through the right hand side of the neck. And just keep relaxing that right shoulder down. Maybe you take a few little turns of the head, turning the nose down and up, just to get into the back of the neck. And then bring the hand to the side of the head, bring your head back through center, and then drop right ear to right shoulder. You might feel a difference between each side. Try and keep that left shoulder down. Option to bring the right hand over the head. And again, just using the weight of the hand. And again, maybe you do a few little rotations, turning the nose up and down. And then bring the hand to the side of the head, bring your head back through center, just roll your shoulders up and back, up and forward. And then from here, just bring your left hand down by your side, reach your right arm up, and then just turn the hand so the fingers are pointing inwards and really press the heel of the hand up. Left hand is just for support as you take a little side bend over to the left, and then really push up through the heel of the right hand, ground down through your right sitting bone, and then return back through center. And just do this a couple of times, so side bend, push up, and then back. And then this time take a side bend, push up, and then just bring, if you can, take the left hand away, then bring it to the right hand side of the rib cage. If you need to, you can still keep it for support and just imagine it's there. And just take a few big deep breaths, just breathing into the right hand side. So as you inhale, try and breathe and expand the right ribs. And as you exhale, ground down through that right sit bone and push away with the heel of the right hand. Inhale to breathe, expanding into those ribs. Exhale, push. One more, inhale, breathe. And exhale, push. And then slowly come back up. Again, maybe just take a couple of little rolls of the shoulder and then do the opposite side. So right hand is down for support, left arm up, turn the hands, the fingers point in, push the heel of the hand up and just take a little side bend first over to the side and then return back to the center. And then again, over to the side and back to center. And then this time coming over, push up with the heel of the hand. Again, that right hand can stay down for support or the hand comes onto the side ribs. As you inhale, breathe into those left ribs. And as you exhale, push up with the heel of the hand and really ground down through that left sitting bone. And do this 2 more times. So inhale, big expansive breath. Exhale, ground down and push. 1 more. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly come back up. Again, if you need to, just give the shoulders a little roll. A couple more things to do just to open up through the back and the front. So just interlace the fingers, push, The fingers forward, I'll just turn slightly to the side so you can see you're still facing forward, and just push the backs of the hands forward, chin to chest. Think about pulling the shoulder blades apart. Just take a few breaths breathing into your upper back, the back of the rib cage. So every time you inhale, breathe into the back ribs, and every time you exhale, push the backs of the hands forward, pull your shoulder blades apart. And then lastly, bring the hands behind you. Again, I'll stay turning to the side just in case you need to see. You can either just bring the fingertips down, think about rolling the shoulders back and down, so you're opening the front of the chest, a little extension of the spine, lifting the chest, or you can bring the hands behind you, clasp them at the low back, pull them up and away. And then you can turn your chest a little bit more to the ceiling, turn your gaze up if you like, or keep your gaze forward. And just take a few breaths, just breathing into the front, into the collarbones, into the front ribs. So just a few gentle stretches just to open everything up before we start our breathwork practice. And then relax one more time. Perhaps you roll the shoulders. And then let's get started. So come back to that comfortable seat, change position if you need to. Relax your shoulders. And then start to just think about all the places we were just breathing. So into the front ribs, into the back ribs, into the side ribs. You can place your hands anywhere you like here to help you. So you might want to bring the hands onto the front ribs first. Take a few breaths, just think about the front ribs lifting up and out as you inhale, and then softening back down as you exhale. And again, front ribs are lifting up and out as you inhale, softening back down as you exhale. One more like this. Just let the belly expand. And then bring your hands onto your side ribs. Again, if this is too much for your arms or your shoulders, you can just drop the hands down. Just imagine that they're there. And again, see if you can really breathe equally now into both sides as opposed to just one side. So think about those side ribs going outwards as you inhale and then softening back in as you exhale. So you're trying to get that breath a little bit lower. And then the back ribs. Sometimes if you can, again, it depends on your shoulders, you can bring the backs of the hands or the fingers to the backs of the rib cage. And as you inhale, think about those back ribs expanding backwards as you inhale, and then again, just softening back in as you exhale. And just try to keep the breath really steady, really regulated. If you can, breathing in and out through the nose, or at least breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then you can just rest your hands back down, or if there's a particular place you like to keep your hands near the rib cage to send the breath there, please do. And let's just try and find a full 360 breath where we're breathing into the entire rib cage. So as you inhale, just think about the rib cage lifting up and out. And as you exhale, softening back in. And what I like to do, so just keep breathing like this as I talk to you. Inhale, expanding, and exhale, softening. And instead of thinking of the rib cage like a cage, because it seems almost quite static, try to think of it almost like a parachute. So something that's quite fluid in its movement. So imagine as you inhale, that parachute really opening up and out, like the bottom of the parachute really floating up and out as the breath comes in. And then as you exhale, just imagine that parachute just closing and softening back down. So as you inhale, think about the edges of the parachute lifting up and out. And as you exhale, they soften back in. And you can kind of think about that as the diaphragm. So as you inhale and bring breath out, down into the lungs, then that diaphragm widens. So it draws the breath in, it widens. And as you exhale, it contracts. So it comes back in and up as it pushes the breath out the lungs. So as the inhale, think about that diaphragm, this circular diaphragm going all the way out, widening in all directions, that 360 breath as the air comes into the lungs. And then as you exhale, it draws up. So it kind of goes down and out as you inhale, and then it goes in and up as you exhale. And I always find that a visualization is really nice just to really focus on where you're sending the breath. So let's just take some breaths like this. Inhale. Feel that rib cage lift up and out like a parachute. Exhale, soften back in. Every time you take a breath in, maybe just that little bit longer, feel free to count the breath if you like. You can start to count for a count of 2, 3, maybe 4, and just keeping the inhale and exhale the same length. And if at any point that breath becomes strained, take the count back down. So inhale, the breath expands, the diaphragm moves out, the ribs lift. Exhale, the ribs soften, the diaphragm goes up, the shoulders relax. And just notice how this makes you feel as you breathe here. Maybe it helps you to find that sense of calm as we start to work with the parasympathetic nervous system, moving from fight or flight to rest and digest. We're going to keep breathing like this just for a little while longer, but now I want you to also add in a visualization of your spine. So still thinking about the rib cage lifting up and out, still keeping the breath nice and steady, that full 360 breath. But also as you inhale, try to think about breathing down your spine all the way to your tailbone. So really breathing down towards the ground. And then as you exhale, imagine that breath drawing all the way back up your spine, as if the breath is really helping each vertebra lengthen one by one, and eventually it goes all the way through the top of your head, and the top of the head starts to reach towards the ceiling. Still shoulders soft and relaxed. So inhale, you're breathing down to the ground, down to the earth, down to the tip of your tail. And exhale, you're drawing the breath back up the spine. Just really visualizing that spine elongating and lengthening with every exhale. Inhale, send the breath down. Exhale, draw the breath back up. And you can also think about that working with the pelvic floor, working with the diaphragm. So as you inhale and breathe down, really think about that pelvic floor opening, like the pelvic floor relaxing, widening, as the diaphragm also goes down and widens. And then as you exhale, you can think about that pelvic floor slightly lifting as the diaphragm also lifts, and this helps with that elongation of the spine. So as you inhale, think about breathing down, like softening your pelvic floor, diaphragm moves out, everything widens. And as you exhale, everything draws in, so the pelvic floor lifts up, the diaphragm lifts up. You can also almost think about your palate also lifting as the crown of the head lifts. And maybe you focus on one or the other, or maybe you think about this all moving together here. So really visualizing that inhale, the parachute opening, the diaphragm widening, pelvic floor relaxing and widening. And then as you exhale, just the parachute draws back in, pelvic floor lifts, diaphragm lifts, spine lengthens. And just take another few breaths like this. And if it's too much to think of everything together, just keep practicing this practice, keep replaying the video, maybe focus on one thing and then another thing, and then start to build it all together. Keep your shoulders soft. Just begin to feel the spaciousness that your breath creates in your physical body. And hopefully maybe also a little bit in that busy mind as we focus on a few other things as opposed to what's going on around us. And feel free to just keep breathing like this, stay here for as long as you like. Once you get to know this, you can maybe practice this without the video. But for now, just take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Slow and steady. And if you have had your eyes closed, you can just open your eyes gently. Just acknowledge how you feel after your breath practice. Take a moment to thank yourself just for giving yourself a few moments for you. And I would really like to thank you for joining me in this practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day.